You are very much welcome back onto the show Healthy Morning here on HSTV. Just gone by was a conversation James had on road safety here in Ghana. It's not time for us to focus a lens on something quite equally important here in our community, and that has to do with violence that we see in our community. And then our main conversation will be on empowerment against violence in our various communities here in Ghana. And this morning I've been joined in the studio by the executive assistant and also an advocate of Street Children Empowerment Foundation, Madam Ophelia Alite. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm good. And
okay. I'm fine as well. And I'm very much happy that we're going to have a conversation on, violence and all of that, because it's become common in recent times. We see a lot of kids out there who are supposed to be in the various classrooms, but one or two reasons for that matter, they are actually on the street, and the reasons they find themselves there are chilling. It's sad that you see students or children of school-going age rather on the streets or engaged in other various activities that they are really not supposed to. And I believe that it really tends to have adverse effects on them. But I believe that, again, at the end of this conversation, we'll get to know why and what your foundation, the Street Empowerment Foundation, is really doing for kids like that. But first of all, how does your foundation explain violence?
Well, good morning to your viewers once more. For the Street Children Empowerment Foundation, we are basically into street work. We seek to create an environment where children of all ages, despite their backgrounds, have equal access to achieving their fullest potentials.
Okay.
And we do that with most of our programs. We have programs like Reading is Basic that seeks to distribute books to some of these schools that doesn't have libraries. So we equip them to be able to read further and then acquire much knowledge.
Okay.
And in our center, we actually have a well-stocked library, Kanketsi Book Aid International, where the children come, have an after-school interaction with the social workers there. We have other amazing projects there. But one project I would like to zoom in is the Voilnce Center. Because let me walk you through Jamestown in a minute. And this is a community that you don't walk in a minute without seeing children either playing football or doing other things while they are supposed to be in the classroom. And when you take the other turn, that is from the Asha maternity, you see young ladies who are visiting the clinic for antenatal care.
It means they're pregnant.
Yes, and these are fortunate ones that have access to health care. And their ages, surprisingly, highest should be 16 years. Because this is a community, again, where when you are 16 or 15 without a child, you are stereotyped to be barren.
When you're 16
without
a child, the stereotype in that community is that you are barren.
Yes. So we have lots of teenage mothers there. And we realize that the problem actually is not coming from, is it the children who don't know enough about their bodies? Is it because of lack of parental care?
Clearly it's an issue with culture.
Yes.
Because if it's a community that terms children at the age of 16 who are childless to be barren, then it really has nothing to do with education, psychological problems, your knowledge on your physiology, but a cultural issue. How are you balancing or bridging that gap?
Yes. So with regards to the work we do at the Voilnce Center, we seek to provide SRHR education and information for these young girls, since most of the abstinence messages are not getting down so well. Why don't we take another turn? Educate them on their bodies. Let them know their bodies very well, so that they know when they are safe and when not safe. So if they would want to even go into sex, they are very sure of what they are going into. They are protected and all that. And because of the stereotype there and the social norm, people take advantage of these girls. People take advantage of these girls a lot. Yet we well, it's the same. They are pregnant anyway, teenage pregnancy. But we don't know whether they got pregnant willingly or not. In our center, most of these young girls that the Voilnce Center deals with, they can tell you proudly that we didn't go straight, like, freely to have sex. We were taken advantage of. And you can't report rape or defilement in the community.
Right.
It is there, but people are silent on it. People know that this is happening, but they won't talk about it. One is about stigma.
Okay.
So if I report about it and now it's viral, everybody knows that I was taken advantage of, then I'll be fingers will be pointed at me. Two, it's about the high cost of medical care. You know, when they, after defilement or rape, when you go to the police station, they would want evidence. So you have to go to the hospital as well. And access to medical care is not free. Meanwhile, the Domestic Violence Act, the Section 8, says that anyone who is or who has been abused or violated and is being assisted by the police to access health care or medical care should have it for free. Like the state should take care of that. But that is not the case. The last defilement case we followed, the medical care was 700 Ghana cedi, and we have to pay for it. So imagine a community like Jamestown, where the people are not earning that much, and you have to pay for 700 cedi for just the medical care. It deters them from reporting.
Okay, you have stated a lot of things: children getting pregnant when they're not supposed to get pregnant, kids that are on the playing ground when they're rather supposed to be in schools and all of that. But first of all, again, I want to understand how your foundation explains violence, and what cases would you level out that these are violent cases against women and children, because you have added women onto your list, you have added young women onto your list, because you want to empower them. So how do you explain violence? How can I identify that this is a violent act on an individual, be it a child, be it a girl?
Okay, any act that is intended to inflict harm.
Inflict harm?
Yes, harm. It could be psychological, it could be physical, it could be sexual, it could be emotional. So for us, this is how we define violence.
Okay.
And we deal predominantly with sexual violence and emotional violence and verbal abuse.
Okay.
You know, from where we operate once more, verbal abuse, we don't really take it to be very serious.
Okay.
You can look at your child and say, like, you're good for nothing. And children that are very emotional, it really takes a very big toll on them. Whatever they do, even in their classrooms, like, they can't get out of that trauma. I am nothing. I can't do anything good. So when they do the first one and it doesn't go well, they don't persist to do again. They just end it there.
Okay.
And those ladies too that get, or the girls that also get violated sexually, we follow the case. Just last month, we had one case, a 52-year-old or 56-year-old man who violated a 12-year-old child in Jamestown.
Okay, that's defilement.
That's defilement.
Okay.
And this is like repeated. The abuse was repeated. And he would always give an exchange, 10 Ghana cedi for that.
So what's the reason this child is really not opening up?
What is the relationship between the parents? Because it even has to take the intervention of people in the house or in the community. That means we don't have a very good parent-children relationship there. That is why in our Voilnce Center, we are not restricting it to just children. We are opening it up to include the parents as well. So in as much as we are offering the education to the children and the adolescents, we are getting the mothers of these parents. Know your children. At least get into conversations with them. We've all been children before, so we can tell you that when you do this and this to us, we don't really like it. And we will tend to either do the opposite or would want also to explore and be teenagers. So let us know the right and the wrong. Let's be open about some of these conversations, because a mother leaves home at 5 a.m. or 6 lately and comes home at 7 or 8. What happens to all these idle hours?
So what is mommy supposed to do? Mommy has to go to work.
mommy has to go to work, all right, but mommy should create that time for the children. What of what use is all the money if you end up getting your children go wayward?
And again, of what use is all of the time with child when you are not making ends meet to take care of child to school?
Well, that one is also another conversation. But honestly, the reason why you are working is because of the children. So they have to be your priority. You know, the Children's Act has this welfare principle. And that means that the welfare of the child should be predominantly like the #1 priority. The welfare of your child should be the #1 priority. In a whole week, you haven't had even a 10-minute conversation with your child. That is dangerous.
So what should we be talking about as parents?
As parents, you could talk about anything, Steph. So you just came back from work. You don't even know how your child is able to do the homework. You don't go through the books. You don't even physically check our children anymore. How then will you notice any changes? You know, when you are open with your children, that is when they are able to tell you, oh, my teacher said this, or Kwame said this to me. Kwame says, if I do this, this will happen. And then you can straighten the child up. That if Kwame says this, next time say this to the child.
So there can be a case where the child can open up and say something ill, and the mom has every right to discipline that child. It's also sometimes very natural in our communities that mothers can ask for assistance from children to support. And also, it can also go overboard where it's violence. But I'm curious, Ophelia, how is the foundation differentiating among violence, discipline, and assistance? Because you can really go overboard and then it's violence. You can also spank your child and that's discipline. You can also say, okay, hi, I'm going to work, but then I'll come back home around 8 p.m. because it's quite tough, but we really don't have money. And you can really speak with your 15-year-old girl that, okay, I have a bunch of plantain. Can you really sit somewhere in front of the gate and sell it out? And this is really not you infringing on the child's right to school. The child closes at 4. At 5 p.m., that child is home. You've really, you know, done what you are supposed to do by taking your child to school, paying fees and all of that. But at 5, that child is home. Maybe even after homework, you can really have that bond with your child and say, and that is, you know, a child coming in to help the family, in as much as it may not be the responsibility of that child. But in these 3 instances, there's violence, there's discipline, there is assistance. How is your foundation drawing the thin line among these 3?
At 5, I'm picking up from where you ended. At 5, the child has the right to play.
To play?
Yes. It's the right of the child to play. To socialize, mingle with friends. Around that time, you're taking that right away from the child.
So let's face the reality. What am I not supposed to allow my child to do as a parent that depicts that this is really violence?
Anything that is your responsibility, don't shove it off to that child to do.
So it means my child is really not supposed to sell.
No, your child is not supposed to sell. You see, when these children go out to sell, the case I was telling you about, the defilement case, she sells pure water at the timber market. And that makes her very prone and very vulnerable. Because at that, how much is the pure water that she's selling in the first place? So if the person gives her 10 cedi, that is enough money. Enough money not to go roam the streets again and go back home. So you don't know where the child is making all these monies from, but it's telling you, this is the money I made from selling my water.
So how many cases has the foundation been able to solve, basically?
Well, basically, the foundation so far, we've been able to solve like more than 10 cases.
So far, since its inception?
Sometimes, the problem is that sometimes the community will fail you when you need them the most. Because, like I said earlier, reporting violence in such a community is frowned against. People would be so alarmed, they would give you all the energy, oh, this thing is wrong, but immediately it gets to court. When we need the witnesses the most, that is where they fail you. So we try to engage the community and let them know that your silence is as dangerous as the crime itself. Don't protect these ones. Tomorrow it could be your sister.
Okay.
Today it is Ajua, so it is not so close. So you are not feeling the harm. Tomorrow when it is your sister, then you will feel the harm. But we don't want it to get there.
Okay.
So let's try and bring these people out. Let's name and shame these people. Then they know that something is being done about it. People are actually watching their every move and activity.
Okay.
Then they will be upright in the society.
So what measures are you really putting in place to protect the identity of whistleblowers in situations like that? Because a lot of times when they open up, they are victimized in society. How are you handling such cases?
Okay, so with us, safeguarding is very important to us. We have a safeguarding policy. Okay. So anyone we work with, we make sure that you are safeguarded. So your name, your identity, we don't put it out. We call you to court when we need you the most. That's all. But in the community, we keep it solely secret and confidential.
But I'm again curious, what measures or approaches do you use in finding street children or children who are really victims of violence and all of that? How do you identify, how do you rescue them? Okay,
so we have a rescue team.
Okay.
We have a rescue team. Since we are into street children, we have a rescue team. They go out, they do their mappings and all that. And after they've been able to rescue the children, we bring them to our center, where we take them through intensive 3-month course. We have our own curriculum we use. Okay. We take them through literacy, numeracy, creative arts, and life skills. Okay. Yes. After that, we integrate them into the mainstream school system. So we take them to the government schools. We provide their reading and then educational materials for them and make follow-ups. We don't just dump them in the schools.
Why government schools though?
Well, sustainability is very key to us. We have lots of children. Okay. And we wouldn't want to take you to a school we won't be able to afford later. Okay. Yes, so sustainability is key. Okay. So we take you to the government school. We give you all you need. We have an after-class activity as well. If you need anything with your homework, your assignment, when you come to our center, social service workers are there to assist you. Okay. So we always keep and engage them. And the social workers at the Foundia Center are so free and open with the children. Okay. They have guidance and counseling sessions with them. So they build that rapport and trust. Now they can tell you when something is not going right with them. Okay. So we pick up on these issues. Okay. And then we do our own investigation.
Okay. So these are for kids that you take them to school. So you've handled that aspect. I'll come back to what you do for the parental community as well. But for the girls who are also pregnant and all of that, and the young women, what do you do for them?
Okay. So we have a young mothers circle. Okay. You know, when the society...
that is also part of the family. Yes. It's also under the Foundia Center.
It's a project under the Foundia, or an aspect of the Foundia. Okay. You know, the society that will push you into getting pregnant will leave you there with your baby to fend for yourself. So we create the problem and leave the children in a box without any proper care for them. Imagine a child taking care of a child. Yeah. You know, you need food as well, and your child also needs the breast milk. So at that moment when they come to our center, we try to get them through to antenatal, because most times they are single parents actually. Yeah. So we take them through. After birth, we still continue with providing for them at least some diapers and baby food and all that. Medical care as well. When a child gets to a certain age or month and you feel that you can do something now, then we would organize counseling and guidance for you and get you a skilled training. Okay. So we have young mothers who are acquiring skills in hairdressing, dressmaking, makeup, or cosmetology, and some have passed that and they are doing amazingly well. Okay. And they are also actually helping us with other girls and training them as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So have you really had situations where it is mothers or parents or caretakers or guardians that even push these young girls out there to engage in all of these sexual activities to fend for themselves? Well, sadly, yes. The people that are supposed to protect us, then they end up failing us sometimes. But with our center, when you let the girl know that exploitation is not the best, trading your body for money is not the best, when you can either acquire a skill or go to school and be financially independent. What is density today? That someone has to sleep with you before giving it to you. When after learning the skill, you earn more. So if it sinks very down with them, they will pick it up. And such parents, like we now bringing all of them on board, we just have to let them know what you are doing. You are pushing your child into danger. You know, if it is because you don't have any money or any income. We have urban savings and loans that we do. We run for the parents of these young children we work with, so that they become also financially stable to curb some of these issues. So we bring them together. We equally organize training for them, soap making. We organize soap making training for them, so that you don't have any excuse to say, oh, because I don't have money, my daughter has to go and bring money home. At least we have equipped you with the skill. There is a savings and loan component there. Take a loan, get a capital, and get something doing for yourself. And do you really take the parents on, parents who really chase their children into such, dubious acts and all of that? Do you really take them on? Well, what do you do about parents, caretakers like that? With such parents, sometimes we refer the case to DOFSU or the social welfare. Because I remember my boss once telling me that there was a defilement case, and when they went to court, the woman said, oh, I actually he didn't rape my daughter, I actually gave my daughter out. And the judge said, you will be convicted for what you're saying, because this is against the law. So such messages, when we preach them in the community, it serves as a yardstick for others. And
do all the children and ladies actually sign up under your center? Do they willingly do that? Or you have situations where they really do not want to? They want to be the mothers they think they are?
Well, we all have deviants sometimes, permits me, but yeah, majority of them willingly sign onto it. Yes, but those ones too who would not willingly want to sign onto it, when life hits them hard, they come back to the center, and then they know that yes, I need to do something with my life.
Is the foundation only focusing on children and then the young girls? Do you extend to parents, caretakers, guardians in society, or even opinion leaders? Because sometimes it looks like the situation or the problem is from the top.
It's from the top, yeah. So strictly we were dealing with children, but now we have seen the gap. We have realized that it is a whole of society something. So if this theory of change needs to be successful, then we also need the whole of community approach. So now we are involving the traditional leaders as part of our advocacy strategy. We are involving the traditional leaders. We are telling them that, you know what, you are the mouthpiece of this community. You are the mouthpiece for these vulnerable ones. You have to protect these vulnerable ones from harm. How do you do that? When such cases are reported to you, don't sit on it. We have this normal way of saying a fearsome. We don't want it to be a fearsome. Let's name and shame, and protect these ones. We now also are dealing with the mothers, and amazingly now we are dealing with sexually exploited women, actually, in quotes, prostitutes, those that have been there. They have tested the waters. They have been in there, so they can tell you their experiences and use their life story to shape you. So we are bringing all these people on board, leaving no one behind.
Do you take the kids through school to the end, or there is a limit at a point?
We take them through to the end. We have students in Legon, students in UCC, DTI. So as far as you are willing and you have the support, you would go to school. Yes.
What did the free SHS policy mean to the foundation before and even now, looking at the situation?
Well,
because it looked like it was going to alleviate your burden, but now it looks like the tables have turned. What did it mean to you before its implementation and after its implementation?
Well, for us, it was a good news, and it's still a good news anyways, because at least some of these children get to go for free admission. However, the basic logistics, because you can't just wear school uniform and say I'm going to school because of free SHS. You need a desk to sit on. You need a pen or a pencil, you need a book, you need textbook. Like we have a whole lot.
You need provisions.
You need a whole lot. So for us with the free SHS, we are saying that it shouldn't be just the admission cost alone. The free SHS should be reviewed. A lot should be put in place so that at least it shouldn't be just free, but it should be free, basic and quality education. So that our children can get something, like be impacted in essence.
What challenges do you face?
Well, as a foundation, our number one challenge will be finances. Yes, because at the moment we are supported by some godparents, and that's the benevolence of some individuals. Yes, and we have some projects that keeps us going. Yes, but if a project is about to end, then as a foundation, you are you're in a state of dilemma. Where's my next money going to come from? Because you have these children, you can't say go back. We have already signed you on, so we need to keep you going.
Okay. Oh, so you signed them. So what's the process like, signing them on and all of that?
So just like the after rescue and all the integration, so we have them on in our database. We have their parent or a guardian also.
You need a consent.
Yes. Yes, like the safeguarding policy I spoke about. That's very, very important for us. And because of sustainability, we do that so that the parents will also feel part of the process. You should be a part of the process. It shouldn't be that, some children will say, okay, and my parents didn't even take care of me. It was an NGO, it was someone. Yes, we don't want that. We want the family unit to still continue because you are in an African setting. Wow,
that's amazing. For that part, it's amazing. It's amazing. But what happens to children who are still with families? They are not on the street yet. They have not gotten pregnant yet, but they are really suffering. How are you looking at identifying them and giving them a helping hand?
Okay, we can't do it all alone. We are trying our possible best. That is why we are engaging the community. So if you identify any child in such a situation, you just come to our center or give us a call, and then we take the kids up. But we have a boarding house actually that also houses some of these children. They go to school, and like the typical normal boarding house, after vacation, they come back home to their parents.
So what word of advice would you give to mothers and children? Because even before that, how is a child supposed to identify a violent or a toxic environment?
Anywhere you don't feel comfortable, anyone you don't feel so comfortable with. Ironically, sometimes the people we feel so comfortable with, they are those that harm us the most. So we try to let the children know that set boundaries for yourself, in as much as you're a child. From my head to my shoulders, anyone at all can tap. But from my boobs downwards, no, it's a no-go area. So anyone who tries to cross that boundary, it's actually, you just need to be alarmed and be alert and report it immediately.
So that would be the sexual aspect, or maybe the aspect of hunger, childcare and all of the healthcare and a whole lot of that. How do I identify that my environment is really toxic? It's not really helping me.
The verbal abuse we spoke of. So if the words of people around you always ends up bringing your spirit down, if the words by people around you don't motivate you, if the words of people around you don't make you feel human enough, that is toxic for you. That is toxic for you. At that minute, your mental health is at stake. So we just say our gates are always open. Just come to the center. Talk it out. All you need to do sometimes is to just say it all out.
Where can we locate the center so we can speak all out?
So we are located at Jamestown. Yes.
I like the location as well.
Yes, we are in the hub.
Place is a hot spot.
It's a very, very hot spot. So Jamestown, just around the Methodist Church. Yes. So if you just say you are going to SEF.
SEF, okay.
Street Children Empowerment Foundation.
Okay.
And I can actually give my number out as well. So
you can.
054 50 58 124. 054 50 58 124.
And you're open for donations, right?
We are
Any
open for
philanthropists
donations.
out there watching?
Yeah, because we work with young mothers and all that. Anything from diapers, if you want to support us financially, we are just open. Just call and then we'll take it up from there.
Right, the numbers again.
054 50 58 124.
A word of advice to children, to young girls out there, or young mothers out there, and to caretakers as well, and also to opinion leaders or traditional leaders in our communities, and then we can wrap up.
Okay. First of all, it's to the caretakers. You know what? The child that is staying with you, if you are able to take very good care of that child, it is an asset to you as well, because they are the children actually training your own children, because you spend most of your hours at work, so they stay with the children at home. So if you educate them very well, they pass it on to your children. So we have to treat all children equally. We don't have to differentiate. This is my child, this is not my child. No, once they are together, let's treat them equally. And then to parents, all we are saying is that please find a time for us. Give us that emotional care and support that we need. Most times, because we say we are children, say, oh, because you are a child, you don't have emotions. But we have emotions. We are emotional beings. So try as much as possible to give us that emotional support. Either than that, the least care from someone, they take advantage.
Right.
Yes, and try to talk with your children. Yes, we in my class where they say there's no right or wrong answer, there shouldn't be anything like you are a spoiled child, you are not a spoiled child. When they bring the issues up, you should pick it. It's actually alarming you on something. So you should just pick it up and have that madly or fadly way of dealing around those issues. To our traditional leaders, we are begging them, they shouldn't protect such people, because their silence is as dangerous as the crime itself. The silent nature of these leaders is like it's fueling the whole situation, because after all, they have the backings of a big man somewhere. Right. Yeah. So if we are going to protect these vulnerable ones from harm, it's a collective responsibility. You have a role to play. I have a role to play. SEF has a role to play. The media has a role to play as well.
Definitely, and that's how come you are here on the platform to speak on children empowerment. And then our conversation today has been the street children empowerment, or empowerment against violence in our community. So if you're a child out there, if you're a young mother out there who is actually feeling unhealthy in the environment you find yourself, you can actually locate SEF inside Jamestown, closer to the Methodist Church, right? Yes, and the numbers again,
054 50 58 124.
58124. And we just had Executive Assistant and Advocate of the Street Children Empowerment Foundation, Madam Ophelia Alote, to do justice to this conversation. If you're a philanthropist out there as well, you were equally touched by this conversation and you really want to give arms to our children out there on the streets, or our young girls who are mothers, unfortunately, you can also call the numbers or get to the center or the foundation inside Jamestown near the Methodist Church and also give arms, and God will definitely bless you. So thank you, Madam, for passing by.
Thank you,
and thank you, viewers, as well, for staying with us from the beginning till now. My name is Stephanie Georgina Manyana. Have a good morning.